Well, now we're going to go to Chicago and talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, I hope you have made it onto the line there. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, Dr. Cloud, pleasure to speak with you. Thank you.
Good to talk to you. How can I help you?
Yeah, so I guess basically, situation I'm in is my father is 75 years old. I'm 43, and he's made his choice. We've tried, being my mom, my sister, our family have tried all the boundaries, everything with him, and he just he's just made his choice. He divorced my mom 5 years ago after 45 years of marriage. Anytime I try and put up boundaries, he'll go from one extreme to the next, to where he'll just go away and we won't even hear from him for 6 months, or it'll be constant calls, like literally 5 or 6 in a row. I work in healthcare and I'll be in surgery, and it's gotten to the point where I'm like, listen, I'm going to have to block you here. And we've tried everything, and really just don't know what to do at this point or how to move forward. When he split up with my mother, he moved back to his hometown, and I've even been hearing from mutual friends down there that he's down there trashing my whole family, my mom, my sister, everyone behind the back, playing the whole victim card. He's the victim of this grand conspiracy. And
but your parents are 5 years divorced, is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah. So
what is the question? It sounds like he's difficult and not being nice.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it.
Isn't that just so insightful on my part to be able to give that just succinct diagnosis? If we weren't on the air, there are probably other words that you would describe him with. So, what? Tell me your question. You said you've done everything. Well, so what's your question?
Well, my question is that I love my dad very much, but I do not like him. I do not like the person he is, the way he treats me, the way he treats my mother and my sister and my nieces. He is continually trying to reinsert himself in, like, I'll put up the boundaries. If you choose to act like this, then we're not going to talk. We're not going to communicate. We're not going to see each other. And then it's just constant harassment to myself and to everyone else.
When you say you put up the boundary, are you specific about behavior? Or are you using descriptive words like don't be mean and don't be are you saying specific behaviors that are measurable?
It's very detailed. So I will sit down with him, and go over specific situations and how that made me feel and how I would like to be treated moving forward. And
so what is I get it. What is the question?
I don't know. I'm to the point where he has caused so much pain to me personally in my life, not to mention my sisters and my mother's, that I can't deal with this person. Like I told my sister the other day that I've never had anyone in my life treat me as bad as my dad does. And
so what is the question?
Do I maintain contact with him? Do I reach out to him on Father's Day and Christmas? Do I, he's not, I'm sorry.
You can a couple of things. Mm-hmm. You love him, right? You don't like his behavior. He's not giving you anything to like. I mean, don't feel bad about not liking that. He's not giving you anything to like. Love is something that we choose to do regardless. Like Jesus said, love your enemies, right? Well, they're not really giving us anything to like. So I totally get that. And I'm glad that you can actually say that, because then you're not walking around with all this conflict inside. You can be free to choose the kind of people that you like and you want to be around. So here's what I would focus on 3 things. I think you can, for sure, whatever you want to do that's nice to him, you can do. Send him a card on Father's Day. Reach out to him, say, hey, just wanted to wish you a happy Father's Day, or was thinking about you. Here's Here's a I'm trying to think of something back there in Chicago that I know. I don't know enough restaurants back there, but here here's a gift card to go to, wherever you would go. Right? I mean, there's nothing that's going to keep you from showering him with love. That's issue number
Mm-hmm.
one. Issue number two is you can do everything you want and should to keep abuse from getting over the transom into your boat.
Mm-hmm.
So you can divide those. You can say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to love you. If you start yelling at me, I'm going to hang up. This is the yelling I talked about. Bye, and I'm going to block you. So don't even try. Bye. Click.
Mm-hmm.
So think
Yeah,
of think
I've
of the
done that.
limits this way. Think of the limits this way. You're going to limit. You're not putting boundaries on him. That's not what we do. We put boundaries on ourselves. What
Right.
you're going to do is you're going to limit your exposure to certain behaviors, and you're still free to do that. And then the third thing that I would say, and you've probably done this, but I would always leave it open, is, Dad, we've had trouble resolving this with the two of us. Anytime you would like to sit down with a good counselor with the two of us, see if we can get to a better place, I'd be open to that. So I would love him.
Right.
I would set limits on not letting him abuse me, and I would always leave an open door to work this out. Okay? Does that help?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've tried all three, in relation to the
Well, stop,
counselor.
stop, 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 stop. Those aren't something you try. See, nothing that I said in there can fail if we understand that I'm the only one I can control.
Right.
That's not something you try, that's something you do. And you've done that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying I
Yeah,
tried
I
that
have.
and it didn't get him to, whoops, I lost my earpiece.
What's that?
It didn't make a difference in how there's you can't control that.
Right.
Follow me?
Yeah, no, I totally understand that it's an ongoing process. I mean, I've tried the situation where, we sat down and talked about a counselor, and he said, I'm going to do it. And then 3 months later, he said, well, I went and saw somebody 2 times and they said there's nothing wrong with me. And, the
Okay,
times where I have reached out.
I know, Chris, I'm going to say it again. What you're coming back with are things about his responses that he's not responding to what you're doing, right?
Right.
And that's what you've got to surrender. That doesn't keep you
How do you
from
mean?
doing. Well, there's nothing you can do about it. But it's
Right.
still kind of getting to you that I want him to respond, right? And of course we want him to respond. I'm just trying to help you
Mm-hmm.
realize you can only control what you can control. You can love him and give him gifts and shower him with affection and, you know, give him a cold drink of water, as the Bible said, when somebody's being mean to us. We can take the high road, and we're taking the high road. They can't get to us, right? Because we're not wanting anything from them.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, we can also stop them from hurting us by not exposing ourselves.
Right.
You said you're in surgery. What do? You wear a mask, you wear gloves, all those things. You don't, you don't get exposed to a lot of the stuff that can hurt you, right? And then thirdly, you can
Mm-hmm.
invite him to join you in the process. And if he doesn't, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And if you'll get in that
Now,
mindset, then I think it'll help. Okay.
yeah, no, I really appreciate that. It's been an exhausting process, and just as a Christian man, I always want to try to
Yeah.
honor my father as much as I can.
All three
It's
of
very
those things
challenging.
are, it is very challenging, and I applaud you for it. What I'm trying to relieve you of is I'm trying to get you,
Mm.
you're a Christian. I'm trying to get you to uh, realize that God has the same problem that you do.
That's a good point.
Okay. What does he do?
Yeah.
What does he do? He continues to love.
What?
He says, look, I, if you want to do that behavior, you can do it if you want to do all that. But you're not gonna ultimately bring all that evil to my house, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then thirdly, he keeps inviting. But a lot of people don't respond. So
right.
It always helps me when I think, gosh, I want this person to get with the program and change, and I'm doing everything I can do. And they just won't come to the light. That will always be true. Now, what will happen is sometimes the less we stay engaged in this tug of war and let go of them and surrender and just keep doing those three things, and they're not getting the gratification of upsetting you and this war and back and forth, and you really let go, sometimes that leaves them so alone in their consequences that they wake up and then they come around. So, but we'll see.
If I give him if I set up the boundary with myself that, if you continue to treat me this way, I am going to block your calls from coming in for a continued basis. That's not a vindictive thing to do. That's not an unchristian thing to do.
No, there's not. Vindictive is when we do something to someone. Mm-hmm. You're not doing anything to anyone. You're just, somebody shooting bullets in your door. All you're doing is closing the door.
Right.
It's like Proverbs says that if somebody, because of a simple person of, somebody's not getting the wake up call, they see danger and they don't hide themselves. They just continue to walk right into it. And so it's not vindictive at all to have those kinds of limits. And anyway, God bless you for trying. All you can do is continue to love somebody and, say, you know what, I forgive you for what you just did, but I can forgive you, but I can't trust you until I hear you say you're sorry and that you want to change and we can see something new.